why does my channel even exist? Like, how did I get here? So I get asked questions like this pretty regularly. Maybe once a week or so, somebody will tell me like, hey, I really enjoy your channel, but how'd you start doing this? Or, hey, I was thinking about starting a channel. How'd you get into this? And why did you cover punk specifically? So there was a problem I had to fix a couple of years ago, and we're going to get into the whole entire story. I just wanted to come on and say what's up to everybody and tell you about my journey on YouTube. I do think it's important to, I don't know, maybe it's not important, but to me it is. I document this stuff and then I tell people what I'm doing, how I did it. And not only can it help somebody with maybe insecurities and stresses, but it'll also give people information that'll be useful if they're going to start a channel or if they're deciding if they want to start a channel. So yeah. So anyways, let's talk about the punk rock review and how we even got to this point. So in 2019, about maybe, I, well, let me back up one more year. In 2018, I opened up a comic book shop in Katy, Texas. And I had this office in the back. It was a pretty large room, and we would sit back there and watch TV and read comics and stuff. And one day I was watching YouTube and I thought, man, there's nobody that's really doing the kind of comic book content that I want. I'll make this quick. So I started a YouTube channel and I got a very cheap little camcorder, and I was basically, I didn't really know what I was doing. I bought like a little shotgun mic. I was in this big concrete room. The audio was really bad, but I was having fun. And we were talking about like whatever books came out that week, what was popular, the good covers. And then I also had like, bad cover of the week. I just had all these little segments that I would do. And it was fun. And then I started hanging out with my buddies who I still currently to this day do the movie podcast with. And we started doing like I think like a weekly or bi-weekly movie conversation. And so in 2019, I started carrying records in my comic book shop, and I knew I wanted to start selling punk records and things. And so I ultimately had this idea of creating the comic book YouTube channel, and that would bring me customers and help me create an online presence and just build my community, not only in the store, but online. Honestly, it's very similar to what I do now. I just love what I do now quite a bit more. I've always been a fan of music, but at the time, comic books were more family friendly. I knew more about them at the time because I had been out of music for quite some time, trying to clean my life up. And I worked at a comic book shop and I was making money doing it. So it just made sense to go that direction. Life takes you on interesting paths. I don't believe anything was an accident. I don't think anything was necessarily even bad, even when I lost things. So in 2020, when COVID-19 happened, we lost our comic book shop. And I'm skipping some stuff because it would take me hours to explain it otherwise. And so I end up at my house, and at this point I'm bored. I've still got this little camcorder. I've still got the shotgun mic, but now I'm in an office that's got carpeted floors. The audio is immediately better. The lighting is immediately better. Now I'm looking for, like, if you watched all my old videos, you can watch the progression. Like, I learned stuff over the years, and I've been doing this for 6 years now. So I've learned a lot of stuff. And I got bored at home. Like, I think everybody was bored, right? So I started really hitting YouTube, and I was doing movie reviews like almost every day. And I was doing like, I would do like album reviews a little bit, or whatever pop culture stuff I was doing at the time. I would take my kids to shop and we'd go do like, what we picked up at the store, Five Below, or whatever, right? I was just creating content, learning how to do YouTube, learning what I wanted to do. And at this point in time, I had no real direction. And then one day some kid asked me on like a movie review video. He was like, hey, have you ever done like a song review or a reaction video? I was like, what's a reaction video? I didn't know what it was. And this is probably in like 2020, I would think, middle of the summertime, maybe. And I was like, I don't know what a reaction video is. He's like, it's exactly what it sounds like. You just listen to a song and you react to it. And I didn't understand back then what that really meant. All it was is a place for giant fandoms and super fans, stands, whatever you want to call them, to come to a guy's channel, see, oh, I listened to Nirvana, and then gush over the Nirvana song. They didn't really want a reaction. They didn't really want a review. They wanted like reinforcement. And I didn't understand that. So I was like, yeah, I can do a music review. What do you want to hear? And these kids are like, well, have you ever heard of Juice World or Lil Peep? And I was like, those names sound ridiculous. No, I haven't heard of that. I like those artists at this point to a pretty significant degree, I'd say. I don't love them the way that these young kids do, but I really like both artists. I'd say that Lil Peep's more my style, but Juice World was the better artist. However you want to take that. Anyways, I started doing like reaction videos and they were blowing up, dude. I'm getting like 30,000 views and I had like 200 subscribers. And so then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, I think I can actually do this. And so my channel was called Shop 31 because my comic book shop, excuse me, was where we shopped at, whatever, right? And 31's been a number that's followed me my whole life. I'm not going to get into that. There's a whole other video for that. So then I was like, well, let me pivot from Shop 31 to 31 TV. So it still is the same brand. And, but I can do like music stuff and it won't really box me in. I can kind of talk about whatever I want. And I did stuff for, not for, but covering like Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd, Suicide Boys, Ghost Main, all the Haunted Mound dudes, right? So that music's okay. Most of it's like all right to me. I like some of it. I dislike some of it. But these kids, man, they wanted me to love every bit of it, and I couldn't. But I was getting two groups of people that liked what I was saying and liked that I was being honest, which was a very small portion, maybe 10% of them. And then a lot of people are hate watching me, right? I didn't care. I just wanted to see if I could make some money doing this. And then I started learning about copyright stuff and how all that worked. It was tough. But I started covering people like Baby Metal and Angelina Jordan, all these artists that they're really good for getting views, but I don't have any connection to them. So like, even if I liked them a little bit, I had to like amp it up to like really like them a lot. And I felt like I was faking it. And I felt very fraudulent, but my channel was doing really good. I was trying to figure out like, how do I make this like take care of my family? I lost my business. I lost my store. I hadn't quite gotten the record store going yet. It was still in its infancy stages. I wasn't sure how it was going to perform. I thought it could work, but I did have a lot of time. Like I was like sitting around the house with the kids, just hanging out. And so, for like 2.5 years, I did these videos where I would just, and there was not much direction. It wasn't focused. I would cover hip hop stuff and then singer songwriter stuff and then jazz stuff. And then, maybe some like new metal or whatever was popular. Like it really was, that guy at Punk Rock NBA, I was like a curmudgeony version of that guy, but I was honest about everything. Like that guy was a fraud. I was just like him if he was honest. And I didn't do like deep dive Wikipedia reads. I like those videos, but I didn't ever get to that point on that channel. And for like 2.5 years, I was doing this, and I had opened up the shop and I was getting records being sold, and that was doing okay. I was growing my community there. And, it takes a long time to grow a small business. So I'm doing that over the first couple of years. And then I don't know, at some point, probably about 2 years in, I had gotten myself up to like 20,000 subscribers. And I was really proud of that. You hit these milestones, you hit like 5,000, you hit 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. That's a lot of people. And if you don't know this, if you're at 20,000 subscribers, you're in the top like 4% of YouTube. You're a success at that point. Now, are you making money? It really depends. I was making some money sometimes. My money was coming from like merch. I was like screen printing my own shirts, selling bootleg shirts for like Peep and Juice WRLD, but it had like my flair to it. Real high contrast, black and white, one color. But I was selling them for $20. I wasn't trying to make a ton of money. I was trying to like make a little money through my channel without having to worry about the songs. I can still play the songs because I'm making money this way. I have a family. I have to make money. I can't do all this and make no money. It doesn't work that way. I can't invest 40, 50 hours a week in something and make zero money. It just doesn't make sense. My wife probably wouldn't want me to do that, even if I was having fun. Hobby's one thing, but full time, like you can't do that. And again, we were in COVID, so everybody had time. Everybody was at home. It was different, And so around 2020, let's see, right now we are 2.5 years in. So it's like 2023, I started getting like just burnt out. I was doing all these videos and the crowd sucked. Dude, the community was terrible. Dude, the worst communities I've ever been a part of have been Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, Angelina Jordan, Baby Metal. those are the worst communities I've ever had my like involvement in, because it's all toxic. All they want you to do is tell you how perfect these people are, and they're not. In the case of like Angelina Jordan, she's like a little girl singing jazz songs, and I was like, oh, she's pretty great. You had an old dude saying like really creepy stuff. It was gross. So like, I just didn't fit in. I was, for lack of a better word, man, I was basically a poser, dude. I was like doing this stuff, covering these songs, and it was very much, 40-year-old punk rock guy covers hip hop. So I was being transparent. I wasn't saying like, oh, I'm a hip hop head. That's never what I was doing. It's never what I was. But it was interesting because I learned a lot. I learned more about lighting. I learned about cameras, and I upgraded all this stuff. I got better cameras, better lighting, better computer. And I just did that. And I'm thinking like, oh, I think I can make a go at this. I think I've got what it takes to really figure this out. I just got to find my lane. I thought it was going to be horror movies because the two things that I love, punk rock, horror movies within like, entertainment, lifestyle, right? My family's clearly number one, but like below that, man, my two loves that are like my life in here right now, horror movies, punk rock. So like, I really thought it was going to be horror movies, and I started going to cons. I got like I was one of the first people that I know that had David Howard Thornton from Terrifier on the podcast. I had him on, and before Terrifier 2 was even filming. Like, I really thought horror movies is where I'm going to end up making my content. So I started a channel called Horror Hangout, and I did that, and I would grow that channel through the other one. I would be like, hey guys, if you like horror movies, check this other channel out. It got monetized. It started doing like, okay. And I was like, I was having kind of fun, right? But it was clear to me that the music was what I knew how to talk about it better. I liked it kind of better. It was easier to make. You can make 5 videos in an afternoon doing music stuff if you want to. But I was telling my wife, like, if you just stick with it, let me keep doing this. I think I can make something happen in a couple of years. I'll be able to make some money. And it's not all about money, right? But it is about like wasting your time. Are you doing something worthwhile? So around 2023, like January, February, I'm starting to really just get tired of 31 TV. It's making the video every day. I was making like, dude, there were some days where I made like 12 videos in a day. I was cranking out content. And at this point, I had like 25K subscribers. We had a lot of subscribers. And I just wasn't happy. Like, you could tell I'd do a video and I just was like, yeah, song's all right, blah, blah, blah. And I'd edit it a little bit and then I'd be like, on to the next, right? I didn't care about Suicide Boys. I didn't care about Ghost Man. Like, that music is not for me, man. I just don't. But I was trying to be like objective about it and come up with something nice to say. And I didn't want to just piss off the crowd, right? I'm just not going to shy away from it. And then one day, probably around my birthday's in March, right? So probably around my birthday, I'm sitting around and I'm like, man, I do not like this music much. I don't care about this. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I feel like I'm lost. 2023, right? Let's see. How old was I in 2023? Oh, I was, oh, no, 41. I was 41, right? It's a weird thing thinking like, oh, I know how to do this. I'm pretty good at it. I see success happening, but I am miserable. What do I do? I felt like I wasted a bunch of time, and I didn't even want to talk to my wife about it because I was kind of embarrassed. But I still believed that I could make something happen with it. Whatever that something is, I still felt like I could do it. So I started looking up like punk rock channels. I was like, man, I want to talk about punk rock with somebody, dude. Because I did a few punk videos on that channel. I had like Brenna Red from The Last Gang. I had her on that channel. I had Catbite on that channel because I loved punk. That's what I loved. So I would start trying to like slowly integrate punk in it, but it just didn't do nothing. Like I started like doing research, and it was like, okay, I have to focus my channel on punk if I want it to be that genre and for people to pay attention. And then I kind of figured out, I think, well, let me back up a little bit. So while I'm doing that research, I start looking at other punk channels. I come across the Punk Rock Historian. I liked him, but he was busy all the time. I think he was touring a bunch back then. Then I came across the Punk Rock NBA. Couldn't stand that dude. And then I came across my buddy Rob. He had a channel called the Punk Aughts. It was a fairly small channel at the time, but I liked what he was doing, and I thought, man, we have enough overlap in our interests to have a good conversation. And so I just emailed him. I was like, hey, man, I got a bunch of subscribers. You want to do a collab, man? I'd love to talk some punk rock with you. And he was like, yeah, sure. Dude, I don't even remember what the video was. I wish I could remember. You know what? I bet I could find out. 1 second. Okay, so I think I found what I was looking for. Looks like in April of 2023, April the 25th about, Rob and I filmed one episode talking about rancid side projects, and we filmed one episode about the top 10 punk rock albums from 2003. So that'd be 20-year anniversary albums, right? We filmed those, and immediately I was like, oh, this is what I need to be doing. And so I was like, hey, man, I don't want to do this other channel that I'm doing anymore. You want to keep doing this thing with me and do a podcast? And he was like, yeah. And that is when so like April 27th, I guess, is our date on here. I think it might have been a little earlier than that, but the actual upload date was April 27th. So I uploaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos within 2 days about punk because I just was having so much fun. And that's the day that I quit the other channel and just started the punk rock review. So April, let's say basically May of 2023, my Brick and turned 10 years old in May of 23. Anyways, May of 2023, I just dropped what was almost 30,000 subscribers to do this. And I've had a few emails and DMs and stuff since then asking like, hey, what's going on with your channel? I'm like, bro, I haven't done anything on there in years. I just don't want to invest any more time in it. But I started doing this, and it was obviously slow going at first, but I had an idea of how to do it. I knew how to film. I knew how to edit a little bit better. I had a better camera, I had better lights. So when I started this channel, I was already like 2 years advanced. Like I didn't just start this channel with a camera and bad lighting. Like that's what I did with the first channel. I did all that work and learned all that stuff. And then I started this channel. And so it didn't take a super long time before I had like 1,000 subscribers. I think it took me a little while to get to the 4,000 hours. So I was monetized, but it took me a little while, maybe a year, less than a year to get monetized. But it felt great because every time I did a video with Rob, I had a blast. Every time I covered an album, I had a good time. And so once I got monetized, I was like, okay, how do I get like ad revenue? It took me a little while. I had to like start covering albums, and I got away from the reaction videos. I do those occasionally still, but those aren't fun, and you can't do anything with that. You can't make any money. Even though you're advertising for the band and the label, it doesn't matter. They have all the power. So I started creating other ideas. Like, what is it that I want to talk about? Well, street punk. So I did a video on that. It did great. It got me a bunch of subscribers, right? I've done one on like Cold Oil. I've done one on women in punk. So, and in between these big giant videos that take me a long time to do it, I started going like, well, let me do an album review. So I started doing album reviews. Then I kept going with my podcast with Rob. So now I have album reviews, mini documentaries or video essays, podcast with Rob. And then I start reaching out to musicians. I start getting musicians on, and then the channel starts growing, and then I get 2,000, and then 3,000, and then 5,000 subscribers, right? And so we're right now at about 2.5 years in, a little bit over that, 2.5 years, and I've got almost 14,000 subscribers. Now I don't make a lot of money, but I make enough to keep doing it, right? And it starts to pay for the plane ticket to go out and film a show in LA, or to go out to Pittsburgh and do Skullfest and cover that. And so now I'm becoming a part of media, and it's all because I stuck with it. So why am I here? I'm here because I love this, and I'm here because I felt like I was lying to my audience, and so I felt an obligation to stop and pivot, and I did it, and I'm glad that I did it. I'm not an authority on punk rock. I never wanted to be. I'm just a guy that loves this stuff. I've been into this community for my whole life almost. I mean, shoot, the guy that owns the club down in Houston we go to all the time, I've known that dude since we were 5 years old. Like, he can tell you what I've been into since junior high. I wasn't into punk rock specifically until probably about age 14, so like 9th grade. I was skateboarding a lot and stuff, so 96, maybe 95, a little bit 95, so 13. But I didn't know much about it back then. I was just like listening to it here and there. I had a bunch of thrash metal CDs and stuff still, but I was a kid, But I pivoted over to this channel, and I've worked really hard, and I've cultivated a community of people that I really appreciate and really enjoy talking with. And then I started doing the live streams. Then Rob had some things he had to deal with. He had to step away a little bit. And I met Nitty through a live stream, and we started talking, and he's one of my best friends now. And, I've met probably like a good half a dozen people in this channel, maybe more than that, dude, like in person, that are like friends of mine now that I talk to all the time. And there's a whole bunch of people that I talk to all the time, like from the streams that I talk to, like in Discord or through Patreon or whatever. It's a community, man. And it's taken me a long time to get where I'm at. But here's what I want to say. I'm happy where I'm at. I have goals, but I'm satisfied here. This is great. I think I've got a trajectory where I think I know where I'm headed, and I'm very proud of it. And I don't know. It's interesting. If you want to do something like this, I say you just should do it, but don't expect it to move fast. Don't expect to make money on it. Don't expect to get a big audience quick. None of that stuff works out fast, unless you're either scantily clad young lady, you might get a big audience really quick. Or if you know some people like those Hardlord dudes, they were already like famous, popular people before they started the channel, right? Whatever. They're I don't have any opinion on them really. I've watched a few of their videos. I'd love to talk to those guys actually. Why wouldn't I? Did the videos with Dan Frampton. That was fun. Yeah. So we've done some crossover stuff, but yeah, dude, why am I here? Because this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This channel is supposed to exist. I've found out just through doing this for 2.5 years that I help a lot of people. And that's awesome, dude. I can't, and now that I have like the label thing, bro, that whole thing is crazy. It started out by accident. Most of this stuff did. So I don't know. I just wanted to get on here for a few minutes and talk about like, why does my channel exist? What did I start it for? How did I get here? Do I make any money on here? Not really. A couple $100 a month. You know what I'm saying? But if that's my floor and I can go up from there, I think that's cool. I don't know anybody else that can pay their car note off YouTube personally. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Dan Frampton might. I know him personally, I guess, at this point. But like, it's not easy. It takes a lot of diligence. It takes a partner that really cares and wants to push you forward. If my wife didn't want me doing this, I probably couldn't. I've had to buy a very expensive camera, a very expensive microphone, a very expensive computer. Now, has it all ultimately been paid back through the channel? Yes. But, what you could do if you wanted to start a punk channel is get you a little like a little $20. You can get, this one's a little more than that, but not much. Let's say $35 wireless microphones. Get your cell phone and then get one of these for like $20. Okay, so you're in $50, right? Because you already got a cell phone. And then you just start filming yourself, talking about whatever you enjoy, whatever that is. If you like makeup, do makeup tutorials. If you like horror movies, talk about horror movies. If you're a Lego fan, talk about Legos. If you like video games, talk about that. Stream video gameplay. You like clothing, you like retro clothes, go out and thrift and show people. If you're a flipper, show people your techniques and what it is that you like to sell. Anybody can do a YouTube channel if you want. It's just, you got to do what you enjoy doing. Don't do it for money because that'll disappoint you. It's just like punk. It's very punk rock to do this because I don't do it for the money. I need money, but I don't do it for the money. If I did it for the money, I'd be doing something completely different. I'd be covering hip hop stuff still, or pop music, or whatever, something else, right? But yeah, man, why does this channel exist? Because it's supposed to. It should exist. We should be here. I should be here doing this for you guys. I'm pretty good at it, and I love this stuff. I love this music. I love this community. I love what it stands for. It's deep in here. It's in my blood. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting topic, I guess. I've been asked like a lot lately about this, so I just wanted to make a video. Hope you guys may not like it. I don't. I can never tell. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, specific questions. I will answer your questions. Hit me up. Let me know what you're asking or thinking. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go watch a movie with my wife. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. If you want to check it out, Patreon links in the description. I would appreciate that. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with us today. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. Peace.